Kenneth is asking, with a 100% K-1 loss on a passive investment, can I write it off 100% if I have the same amount in capital gains, say from stocks, a windfall from a deal that didn't go well? Such a good question. We see it a lot. So think about it this way. Passive income and passive loss, they kind of go hand in hand. If you only have the passive income, it gets taxed. So people think that just because it's passive, I pay somehow lower rates. Many of the passive income is still ordinary income rates, unless it's dividends and it might be a bit lower, right? But if you have, let's say, real estate or any type of passive investment through K1s, it still be ordinary income. Passive loss, however, cannot offset any other income than passive income. Okay. And I'll give you examples. People are doing strategies many times where they will generate passive losses and very specifically invest in those deals because they could take advantage of those passive losses in year one. Because if I have like, and it doesn't matter what, like, as long as it's passive, right? The passive loss would offset your passive income. Like you could have a passive loss. Let's say you did crypto, right? And you had a massive loss. You had $1 million in passive loss that you didn't get to use 3 years ago. And now you just carried forward. Now, in 2025 or 2026, you have a deal or you sold something, you sold a piece of property, and now I have 700,000 worth of passive, you know, income coming in. Can I use the carryover? Yes. Passive loss would offset passive income. But until you have passive income hitting your return, okay, you will carry forward those passive losses until you get passive income. The saddest stories, and I have to like, I will tell you guys the saddest stories. The saddest stories when somebody passes away. When you have, and it breaks my heart when I see this. When somebody makes investments or they do all these things to have to have losses. They pass away and the loss disappears. The loss completely disappears. It disappears with you, and then you're getting other things. You're doing some. Your estate may have other things. Having in its list of assets, and you might incur a gain as a later on as a beneficiary when we lost that loss because it was literally dependent on that social security number. So make sure that you don't, what's the tip for you here is when you have large carryovers, do deals or get into deals to not sit on your return for so long. Is it worth it to carry a large passive loss for many years? I don't find it useful. So what I would say is always try to use as much as possible of your passive losses before they expire on you, before something happens to you and they're just gone. So use it up. That's just